ManageLM is a platform that lets you manage your Linux and Windows servers in natural language. You describe what you want. AI agents installed on your servers execute it securely using a local or cloud large language model. At the core of the platform, agents and skills. Let me show you how it works. The core concept is simple. You deploy agents on your Linux or Windows machines, and you assign skills to those agents. ManageLM ships with a catalog of built-in skills for both Linux and Windows. Let's look at database management as an example. You can import it from the catalog and then configure it. Editing the skill shows 4 things. First, the MCP operations this skill exposes. Second, the allowed commands. Exactly which shell commands the agent is permitted to run. Nothing outside this list will ever execute. Third, the prompt. Fourth, the sandbox settings, controlling exactly how commands are executed at the agent level. Everything here is fully reconfigurable. One more useful feature, you can drag and drop documents directly into the skill. If the agent needs to work with software or servers that the local large language model wasn't trained on, it can consult the attached documentation at task time. Each skill can carry its own contextual reference library. Now let's look at an agent. Take this one, called dev. You can give it a display name and add tags. For example, production, which lets you search and target groups of agents based on those tags. Below, you can see the skills assigned to this agent. Adding a new skill is as simple as clicking it. You can also organize agents into groups. Here, a group contains 2 agents. Assigning a skill to a group automatically applies it to every agent in that group. No need to configure each one individually. Now, who can access what? ManageLM has its own administrative layer. This is where you define access for your team members. Here you can invite team members and assign them admin roles, controlling who manages the platform itself, independently from who can run tasks on which agents. For each agent or group, you control which users can connect and run tasks. Another feature is the connector concept. You can connect ManageLM to your AWS or Azure infrastructure. Here you can see the different connector types. They enrich ManageLM with contextual metadata about each agent. For example, an agent's associated AWS resources, memory, security groups, network configuration, and so on. This gives the Claude MCP client the context of where the agent lives, which helps it work with that agent more effectively. Let's install an agent to show how it works. You can choose between Linux and Windows. Installation is just a matter of pasting the URL and running it. There are no dependencies. As long as Python is installed on the target machine, that's all you need. Everything installs into /opt/ManageLM. The agent is completely self-contained. Then we approve the agent. It's now connecting and configuring itself automatically. One important point, during enrollment, the agent generates a cryptographic key pair. The public key is shared with ManageLM. From that point on, every request sent to this agent must be cryptographically signed. The agent will not execute any instruction, skill, or command that isn't explicitly authorized. There is a full security control stack built into the agent to prevent any unintended actions. Once the agent is installed, you can assign additional skills to it, independently of its group. From there, it's straightforward. Go to Claude, open the connector settings, and add the MCP connector. Copy all the connection parameters from ManageLM into Claude. Generate the secret, paste everything in, and connect. Claude is now connected to ManageLM. You can see that Claude has access to a full set of MCP methods. From this point, you can chat with your infrastructure. Claude queries your agents, gets the data, and gives you an instant structured overview of your fleet. That's contextual reasoning, not just a command output. Now let me explain how it all works together. We're using an intelligent management interface, typically Claude or OpenAI through the ManageLM GPT. This interface orchestrates MCP calls based on your natural language request and sends them to ManageLM. ManageLM applies its security controls and then forwards the request to the relevant agent or agents. The agent executes the task, generates a report, and sends the results back. On the agent side, task execution runs on a local large language model. For example, an Ollama server running on a GPU on your own infrastructure. Here, you specify which model to target on your LLM server. Let me show you. I'm switching to a local server. I have several models running on it. This is a DGX Spark. Once the local large language model configured, agents use it directly for task execution. They don't use Claude for that. Claude is used only to manage and instruct the agents. All my agents are now pointing to my LM Studio server. The orders are sent to the agents, which execute them using the local intelligence you've configured. It could be a Mac Studio, a DGX Spark, or any GPU-equipped machine on your network. ManageLM offers 3 LLM options. First, a local LLM. And by local, I don't mean local to the agent's machine. It can be any LLM service running on your network that the agents can reach. Second, a cloud LLM, which is less recommended since you lose full confidentiality over what the agents are doing. Third, for evaluation purposes, ManageLM provides a built-in trial large language model based on Gemini, so you can try all the features without setting up a local LLM first. It's that simple. Now let's go back to the infrastructure section. ManageLM includes several types of reports. Security reports are particularly important. They audit your machines continuously. For example, if you schedule daily security audits, the compliance section will show 1 audit result per day, per server. And every audit is stored in history. This gives you a 90-day view of how your security posture evolves over time. This is not a point-in-time snapshot. It's a historical view of your security evolution. Any new security event that appears will trigger an alert and stack at the top, so nothing gets missed. If a new critical vulnerability is detected, it automatically triggers an alert. You can also check your alignment against industry standards. Here, for example, ISO 27001. You can see exactly where you are not compliant at the security level, and export a full compliance report listing both the gaps and what is already compliant with that particular regulation. Security reports are also accessible directly from the infrastructure view for each individual server. Trigger a security audit, run a system inventory, list SSH access and sudo permissions, or view the agent's activity history. For example, on this server, I can access its security report and request a new scan at any time. It runs almost instantly. The same applies to the system inventory, what is running on the machine, network interfaces, storage, and active services. The access inventory shows accounts registered in ManageLM that have SSH access to this server, privilege groups, and sudo authorizations. This activity report covers the last 24 hours. All logins, modified files, configuration changes, service restarts, and system reboots. All reports can be scheduled, daily, weekly, or monthly, or left on manual only. When scheduled, they all trigger simultaneously. At the top of the infrastructure page, you can also generate full fleet-wide reports in one click. Here, for example, a complete infrastructure security report, exported in this format. Each subsystem has its own report type: infrastructure security, SSH and sudo access, and more. The agent logs everything it does in ManageLM. Every action is recorded and reportable. Before we wrap up, one more thing. ManageLM already comes with a set of plugins. The recommended interface is Claude. As the most capable reasoning model available, it can orchestrate and plan complex multi-step actions most effectively. A native GPT is also available for OpenAI users. Developers also get a native VS Code plugin, available directly on the VS Code marketplace, which lets them interact with their servers through Copilot, without leaving their development environment. More plugins are coming. Thanks for watching.